People aren't failing, the system is. If the economy is strong, why do so many people still live as if they're walking on a thin wire, where one small slip could send everything crashing down? Why do the headlines talk about growth, about strong indicators, about a soft landing, while in kitchens late at night, under cold overhead lights, people spread their bills across the table and sit in silence? You hear small sentences, but they carry enormous weight. What do we cut this month? What if the car breaks down? What if the kids get sick? What if I lose my job? There's a family in the suburbs, 2 kids, both parents work. They're not lazy, they haven't given up. Their schedules are full, morning drop-offs, evening pickups, late nights catching up on work. On paper, they look like a textbook middle-class household. In reality, their life has become a monthly calculation, a calculation with no room for error and no room to breathe. This isn't just about rising prices, it's something deeper. The conversion rate is broken. Hours of labor no longer translate into a feeling of safety. There used to be an unspoken agreement in modern America. No contract, no signature, just an understanding. If you worked hard, you'd have a foundation. Not wealth, not perfection, but stability. Enough to plan, enough to imagine a future without shaking hands. That agreement is slipping away, and the clearest signs don't show up on charts. They show up in the things you cannot postpone. Food, housing, health. You can delay a trip, you can delay a purchase, you can tell yourself, next month. But you can't negotiate with hunger. You can't bargain with rent due dates. You can't reschedule a sharp pain that hits at midnight. So let's start where the system reveals itself the fastest. The grocery checkout. You stand there, you swipe your card, you wait for the total. And there's a brief moment, short but transformative. You're no longer shopping, you're being evaluated, tested, reminded that your money buys less than it used to, even though you're doing everything the same. That feeling isn't just discomfort, it's a political signal, because it tells you the rules have changed without warning. That family feels it too. Groceries used to be routine, now they're an exercise in restraint. Cheaper brands, fewer fresh items, smaller quantities. Yet the total doesn't fall the way they expect. The frightening part isn't an extra few dollars. It's the sense of being pushed, day after day, into a narrower corner. When you start calculating food, you start calculating everything else. That's when trust begins to erode. Some people say, just tighten your belt. It sounds reasonable, but the truth is, many households already have. And the belt is on the last notch. You can't keep cutting what's no longer a luxury. When essentials rise together, saving stops being a skill. It becomes an illusion. You pull the tablecloth, but the table is still empty. Here's the first critical conclusion. When pressure comes from necessities, this is no longer about habits. It's about structure. Then comes housing, the point where instability becomes visible. Housing isn't just a place to sleep, it's the foundation. It determines where you work, where your kids go to school, which community you belong to, whether you dare change jobs, whether you dare have children. But for many people, housing is no longer about choosing where to live. It's about fitting the cash flow. Rent increases don't just take money, they take the future. They erase margin. And when margin disappears, life turns into risk avoidance. You don't move, you don't switch jobs, you don't try something new, you don't fail. That family receives a lease renewal email. The number jumps, not enough to bankrupt them overnight, but enough to make the next few months tight. And prolonged tightness shrinks people. Maybe we'll move farther out, they say. Farther out means more commuting, more gas, more exhaustion, less time with the kids, less energy to live. Housing isn't just expensive, it's a chain reaction. It's how the system converts your time into a fee. Here's the second conclusion. When housing forces you to live lease to lease, you stop living future to future. Time collapses, from years to months to weeks to nights. People still work, they still try, they still follow the rules, but stability never arrives. And when stability disappears, society begins to drift. Then comes the quietest and most brutal part: healthcare. Many people are insured, but they don't feel protected. Healthcare feels like a paid gamble. You pay monthly just for the right to participate in a system where, if something goes wrong, you still pay more. You hear it in ordinary sentences. Don't go to the ER, it's too expensive. Let's see if it goes away. We haven't hit the deductible yet. Tests mean surprise bills. That family has a night where their child runs a high fever. Panic. They rush to the car, and on the way, a question no parent should have, but many do, appears. Can we afford the hospital? The existence of that question tells you everything. Healthcare has turned health into financial risk. It also locks people into jobs. You don't just work for income, you work to keep insurance. You stay not because you want to, but because you're afraid. Some call this a strong labor market. For many workers, it feels like a polished cage. You're employed, you're paid, but you can't afford to lose it. Here's the third conclusion. When survival is tied to employment, losing a job isn't a setback, it's a cliff. And when food, housing, and healthcare no longer fit within wages, the system offers an alternative. It doesn't call it a solution, it calls it credit. Debt used to be a tool: homes, cars, opportunity. Now it's a circulatory system. It keeps the present alive by draining the future. You swipe not because you want to, but because you must. You finance not because it's convenient, but because it prevents collapse. That family starts leaning on credit. At first, small things, then unavoidable things. Minimum payments feel like pouring water into a cracked bucket. This is where the economy can look resilient on paper. Spending continues, sales hold up. But this isn't confident spending, it's endurance spending. Markets track margins, households track survival, and now the necessary rebuttal. Some will say, unemployment is low, stocks are up, inflation is easing, so what's broken? The answer is simple. An economy can be healthy at the capital level and sick at the household level. If you own assets, strength means rising value and leverage. If you rent life through rent, insurance, transport, and interest, strength means higher fixed costs without bargaining power. This isn't moral failure, it's design. When a system profits most from things people cannot opt out of, it will extract from necessity. And when necessity becomes expensive, life contracts, even if the numbers look good. So what happens when this gap persists? The danger doesn't arrive as an explosion, it arrives as withdrawal. People quietly step away from the future. They delay adulthood, delay marriage, delay children, delay doctors, delay repairs, delay dreams. From the outside, they seem fine. Inside, they're operating in defense mode. That family cuts what once gave life color. Small trips, dinners out, classes for the kids, modest savings. Each cut makes life smaller. Until they're no longer living, they're managing risk. Here's the fourth conclusion. When people stop believing effort leads to stability, they don't revolt. They disengage. And politics changes form. Not because people become irrational, but because they become unconvinced. When official narratives say, everything is fine, while daily life says, I'm thinning out, legitimacy erodes. Blame is easy. Consumers, workers, politicians, corporations. But the sharper lens is incentives. Fixed-cost economies reward risk avoidance. Job-tied healthcare rewards job lock. Asset-driven housing rewards scarcity. Debt-based survival rewards dependence. When incentives reward withdrawal, people withdraw. Not from laziness, from logic. And from there, three paths appear. Some leave. They move states, change industries, exit cities, seek cheaper systems. That's a drain of trust. Some shrink. They stay but live smaller. consume less, commit less, dream less. Not because they lack ambition, but because ambition feels dangerous. And some collapse. When neither exit nor contraction is possible, something breaks. Mental health, relationships, credit, the body, or faith itself. None of these paths are moral failures. They are structural responses. So what does this mean? It means strong is not a moral shield. A strong economy does not guarantee a stable society. If full-time workers can't build a future, something is broken, no matter how green the charts. If ordinary illness can erase savings, something is broken, no matter how inflation trends. If housing turns family formation into a gamble, something is broken, no matter how GDP grows. The most dangerous moment is when leaders insist everything is fine, while ordinary people quietly realize the system no longer serves them. It doesn't support them. It invoices them. And if you ask what will define the coming years, the answer isn't in headlines. It's in trust. Trust that work leads to stability. Trust that illness won't ruin you. Trust that housing is a foundation, not a trap. Trust that the future is still worth building. If that trust continues to erode, the consequences won't stop at wallets. They'll reshape behavior, communities, politics, and how people see one another. So I want you to answer honestly in the comments. What is weakening everyday life the most, even as the economy is called strong? Housing? Healthcare? Debt? Wages? Or something deeper, the sense that effort number one longer gets rewarded? In the next video, we'll take on an even harder question. Why the most essential parts of modern life have become machines that extract stability, and who truly benefits from that design. If this made you pause, subscribe for more analysis that looks past the headlines.